Okay, so welcome back for fourth day. Good evening, everybody. Today we are going to do the DOM manipulation. So I'm really very excited for day four. So now advanced stuff like from today to tomorrow, we are actually going to understand about DOM manipulation and all. First of all, a quick check if you are able to hear me and I'm visible on my screen as well. So everything check. Yeah. Good evening. So first thing first, I'll just tell you how you can mark your attendance because that's very important to get the certificate. So I'll just tell you how you can mark your attendance. So in the description, you will see a link, this one. So if I just go down, so this link now, one link here. So you will see this one. Just click here and you will be welcomed with our one link here. So it's a place from where you can get the certificate. From here you can mark your attendance, and as well as you can join our WhatsApp group. And if you are planning to buy a course, you can just click here and you can talk with us. So we will basically guide you that what should you take, what would be the better option for you, and so on and so forth. Yeah. So here on the day four here, so you just give it a refresh and you will get a mark attendance button here. uh, you will see it. Just click on this mark attendance, how much you like this session on the scale of 0 to 10. So 10 right now. And if you're interested in our 6 months of program, you can mark yes here. And if any suggestions, so not right now. So that is all. So because you have to have 50% of attendance, more than 50% of attendance to get the certificate. So that's if that is out of phase. So let's start with our DOM manipulation. So like this is the exact same project that we are working on since day one. And let's just understand what is DOM manipulation. So DOM manipulation actually means when you actually modify your HTML from your JavaScript. So like effects and all. So if somebody clicks on somewhere, you just want to show let's just show an image, hiding, showing of the data and all sort of stuff. So that we are going to do today. For that, to understand about the DOM manipulation, we need to understand about the arrays and the object first. So it's just going to take you 5 to 10 minutes. So let me just tell you what is objects first. Objects. So what is object? So object is again a type of value to be exact. So what is object? So till now we were creating a single variable like this, isn't it? And let's say like this. So it's gonna be, let's say, string. So these two are actually the primitive values. What primitive means? That they are just values. And what if you just want to store these two values in a single variable? Okay, let's see here. So inside the C, if you want to have both these A and B, and you don't want to create separate variables for them, so just create an object here. How to create an object? Just type const, like whatever your variable name is. So const let, you can go with any one of them, your variable name and equals to, and after that you have to use this curly brackets. Okay, just use this curly brackets, and here you can basically store multiple values. Like I just want to have a here, so a gonna be, let's say, have the value of 10, and so type a. Okay, so this is the key. So this is the key of object, yeah, key. And after that, colon and the value. And you can say as many keys value pair as much as you want. So put a comma here, and after that let me just have a b and hello. Okay, so that's it. So inside this C, so now is C is an object which contains two values, A and the B. So if you want to access any one of them, so let me just log out the C for you, and let's see what is the output that you're going to get. And if I save it, so see, if I just log out this C, I'm getting an object. See, I'm getting an object here, and this object is actually having the value A and the B. So if you just want to access the whole object, just type the object name. And if you just want to access any one of the value, you don't want to access the complete object, just put a dot here. Okay, C dot A. So if I'll just do C dot A, I'm just going to get the A value inside the C object, and that is 10 right now. And similarly, I can just do C dot B here, and I will get hello here. Okay, so that's all about the object. Okay, literally that is all about the object. So I can basically create as many objects you want. So let me just create an object. Let's say const, and let's have a persona. So const const and person, and this person, there is a persona, there is a variable person whose name is John. Let's say his age is 30 and his weight, and let's say developer or not. So is developer, and here you can enter true and false. So it's just a collection of values here, na? And like as you can add as many values you want. So if I just a quick console for this person, I'm just going to get all these values here. I'm just going to get all these values here. So why I told you about the object, because it is going to play a very important role when you are actually going to modify your HTML. So inside this object, I'm having age, isDev, name, weight, etc., etc. And if I just want to have a single value, so just put a dot here, and let's say put name. So person dot name, and you're just going to get the name value there. That is John right now. And let me just do this one more time, and this time let's just go with age. Save it, and you're just going to get the age. So that's very easy. So that is all about the objects. Any doubt? Like I'm pretty sure that you should not have any doubt here. Like obviously it's very easy. Just create an object. Inside the object you can have as many key value pairs as you want, and you can basically store the data here. So that is all about the objects here. And second thing, after this, I just want to tell you about one more type of data, which is called as array. So what I will do, I'll just mark a comment here, and then let me just tell you about array. So what is array? Array is again just a collection of values. Okay, array is again just a collection of values. So let me just create an array. Let's say you can give array any name, and here you will use the square brackets. So in the case of objects you were using the curly brackets, but in the case of array you are actually going to use the square brackets. And inside this you can basically save multiple values, separating them by comma. So let's say 1 2 3, any number now. So now this array actually contains these multiple values here. So 1 3 5 6, and if I'll just do a console dot log for this array, I'm just going to get all the values here. If I'll save it, I'm just going to get all the values here. So what all the values that are actually inside that array. So 1 3 5 6 7 8. So that is all about array. But here if you just want to access any one of the value, if you don't want to access the complete array, so these are the actually elements of our array. So these are the elements of an array. We call them elements of the array. And if you just want to access any one of them, so each element actually going to have a specific index number. So index number starts from 0 1 2 3 and the 4. So this is actually the index number, no? So it starts from 0 1 2 3 4. And suppose if you just want to access this 78, so what is the index number of the 78? 0 1 2 3 and the 4. So 4 is the index of this 78. So what you have to do here, just go over here and use the square bracket and write the index number that you want to access. So index number 4 I just want to access here. Just save it, and you are going to get 78 in your console. And see, I'm getting 74. And let me just repeat this. So suppose if I want to get the 0th index number, I'll get the 1 here. And if I'll just put, let's say 3. So what is the element at the 3 index? 0 1 2 3 6 here. A quick save, and you will get 6 in the last part. So 78 1 and the 6. So that's all about the array. Like as I told you, it's very easy. So array is just a collection of different values, and you can basically separate all the values by comma. And objects is again is a collection of different values, but here we use key and value pair. So it's a key and it's a value. Key value, key value, key value. And to access any value inside an object, you have to use the key. So I can, let's say, so object name. So I can just do object name, that is person dot the key that you want to access. So let me just go with name here. And in the case of array, you have to use the index number to access that particular value. Yeah, exactly. It's like Python. What is assignment to called in the assignment? Okay, so let me just ask it. I don't actually know about it. Okay, so any doubts in arrays and object? I don't feel like you should have any. So we can move to the next part, that is actually going to be our actual DOM manipulation. So if this thing is out of our way, so we can start with our document manipulation. Okay, that is great. So how we can manipulate the document here? So for that, you have to use a special thing, we call it document. So this is a, by the way, this document is an object. This document is an object, and I can show it to you. So this, you haven't created this document, na? You haven't created this document. We got this document from the JavaScript itself. So this document is actually a object. So it is an object, na? Object, like the object we created, and it is we got this thing from a JavaScript. So if you open this, so it's gonna have so many key values pairing. See, hidden, true, and etc. etc. But there is something special with this document object. So you don't have to create this, by the way. So if I create my own object now, so let's suppose I create an object here, this one. And one more thing, that you can not only store some values inside an object, you can also store a function. So let's say I just want to store a function, let's say sum. So put a colon and just type function, and this is how you can also store the function. Okay, so this is how you can store the function here. So let me just, let's say console.log, and let me just have a comma b here, and I'm just going to remove this, and let's have John here, and console.log, it just doing that a plus b. Okay, so inside an object you can also store a method. So this is a function. So this is actually a function which is stored inside an object. So just tell me how I can access the name value here. So suppose I just want to access this name value, I can do this. Yeah, you can store the arrow functions too. So this is how you can store the arrow function. So let's just store the arrow function. So just type the name of your function, a comma b as the parameter, our arrow symbol, and console.log a plus b. So let me just write a plus b here. Okay, so how I can access, yeah, exactly, by using the dot operator I can access the name value here. So let me just hide this thing. I click save, and if you'll see here, I'm getting my value name here. And how to access this function? This function, just type the object name, that is obj dot sum, and execute this function. So it's just like a regular function. Why not return the value? Yeah, you can return the value. It's yeah, this function can also return something, but I was just showing you, that's why I just did the simple console.log. You can also return the value. You can also return the value, that's not an issue here. So this is a function which is going to return a and b, and for that I'm just going to pass some random values here. And if this thing is returning something, that means we have to save it somewhere. So I'm just going to save it inside the result, and let's just have a quick console log here, console.log of result, and you are actually going to see the result of 12 plus 46. Yeah, you can do that as well. 58. So why I told you about this now? Because that document object, this is also an object, and we got this thing from the JavaScript, and this document object has some functions inside of it. Functions like dot get element by ID. So manipulation or document manipulation have basically two parts. So the first part is actually you basically have to grab the element that you want to modify. So right now in my HTML, I just have a single element, this no, this one. So this h1. Suppose I just want to modify this h1 here. So the first step would should be like to grab this thing. Okay, we have to basically pick this thing. So how to do that? For that we have different functions inside the document object. So one function we have here is get element by ID. Okay, this is a function which was given to us by the JavaScript, and here as a parameter you basically have to pass the ID of the element that you want to access. So what is the ID of this thing? So let me just give it an ID of, let's say, title here. Title, title, yeah. Okay, and you just have to pass the ID here. So I'm just going to pass the ID here, and that's it. So this function get element by ID. So actually you don't have to create this by yourself. No? You will get this from the JavaScript, and inside this you just have to pass the ID of the element that you want to grab. And next thing, you basically have to save it inside some another variable. So let me just create a variable const title element and equal. So what this function is going to do, it's just going to grab this particular element from our HTML and it's just going to return it. So I can basically do a quick console for this title EL and let's see what we are getting. So let's just make this thing here and here. See, I'm getting my title. So this is the H1. So this is the H1 you are actually grabbing. Now by using this title, so you have basically grabbed this. You somehow basically selected that element from the HTML and you saved that thing inside another variable here. From your document, you selected that element and you have basically saved it somewhere. And now I can use it to modify that thing. So let's just modify the styling first of all. So I just want to modify the styling. So that's very easy. Just type the variable inside which you have basically grabbed that particular variable and type style. Okay, dot style, and again you have to put a dot here, and you can basically provide any CSS property. So let's suppose I just want to change the background color. So just type background color, and you can make it equals to any value that you want. So if I'll save it and the background color is going to change, see it's red now. I can make it green as well. So how I'm doing this, first step is to select the element. To select the element, we are actually going to use these kind of methods, and we have many more methods. So I'm just going to cover most of them. So this is the first, mostly you're actually going to use this one. So it's very straightforward and very easy. So get element by ID, and we got this thing from the document. So this document is an object, and that object basically have this function inside of it, and inside this function we just have to pass the ID of the element that you want to grab, and it is just going to select that element from the document, and we are actually going to save it inside some variable here. And next thing, by using this variable you can modify this element. You can change the styling, you can set up some event listener, and so on and so forth. So what I'm doing here to change the styling, so there are different ways to change the styling. So this one being the easiest one, so that is why I'm using it. So title.el, so our element name dot style. So by the way, it's also an object. It is also an object. So this object is actually our complete element. So we got this element in the form of an object here. So inside this object we have a proper a value style. Again it is an object. So put dot the background color. So you can basically change any CSS value. Let's say color. Save it. Now color will be green. So, and you can just do it again and again, and you can modify the styling according to you. What is the type of, yeah, type of this is an object. So that is why we are able to use this object here, this dot operator. It's a very special type of object. It's a HTML element object. So it's a very special type of object. Okay, see, this color is changed to green. And you can mention any CSS property. Let's say font weight. So font font weight. Let's just make it to bold. So now it's gonna be, I think it was already bold, so it's not going to make any difference here. So you can change it to, let's say 100. So now it's gonna be thinner. So I can just repeat this thing again and again. So let's suppose I just want to change the background color. So I'll just do this background to, let's say, green here. Yep, and let's change the text alignment to the center. Text align to the center here. So now the text will be in the center, and let's just change the border as well. So color, let's just go with a color for different color. Blue. So color will be different. Yeah, Leon, you can do that. You can see the type. By the way, you can directly check it by doing a quick console here. It's a HTML type. Just for you, what is your name, Leon? It's a HTML type of element. So I think you already know about this. So that is how you can grab the element and you can change the styling. Now let me just go through all different ways by which you can grab a particular element. So first one being the get element by ID. Similarly, we have get element by class. So suppose I'm just going to put some, let me just create some list kind of thing. So unordered list, just create an unordered list. Inside this, I will have a list item. And I'm just going to give this list item a class of let's say item. And inside this, let's say get element by ID was the first one. Then we have class name. I think it's class name or classes. And then we have the by name. So we are actually going to cover these. And let's have one more, the get element query selector, query selector, and all. And I think that's it. Okay, so we'll have a list here. So this is the list and it's gonna be unordered. So let me just make it ordered list here, OL, and I'm just going to grab it inside my this thing, ordered list. Let's just give it a little bit of background color. So it's gonna have a background color, and let's just give it a padding of 10 pixels and just give it some few seconds to get load. Yep, so we have this thing now, and I'm just going to give it some margin as well. So margin of again 10 pixels. It's getting refreshed. Okay, so that is what we are getting here. So this is what we are getting here. And now suppose if you want to grab the elements by its class name, so you just want to grab all the elements with the class name of item. So just it's very straightforward, just write this any variable. So I'm just going to go with item equals to document dot get element by class name. That's all. And here you just have to pass the class name. So like if we had the ID now, similarly we have the class name. That's very straightforward, very simple. The only difference here is because we can have multiple elements with the same class. So that is why you are not just going to get a single element, you are actually going to get an array. You are going to get an array here. So if I'll show it to you, so we are right now we are getting an array. See, we are getting an array of multiple elements. Yeah, so suppose if you just want to select the first element, so what I will do here, so it's an array na? Because obviously, because in the case of classes you can have multiple elements with the same class, so that is why you are actually getting a class name. So what I will do, so let's say item, and I just want to modify this one, or let's say this one. So what is the index of this? So index 0, 1, 2, 3, and the 4. So index is 1 here. So I'll select 1 and dot style. So now rest of the thing is same. The style dot, let me change the background color. The background to let's say green here, and save it. So right now we are just from this array we are targeting a single element. Okay. So I think I just have to make the background color, and I'll just change the, so it's not changing. Let me just have a console.log for it. Uh, uh, console.log an item, and the item I just want to get 1 here. Otherwise, no, you are actually, so see this one, and you can also hover over it to see which element this is. So this is actually our, if you, and by the way it's an object, so you will have all the details about it. That is not we are going to use right now, so we are not actually using it. Okay, so one is this one, get elements by name. So let me just select the 0 here. And after that, you can do all this, the same stuff. Item dot item. Let me just go with 0th index, 0th index, and change the background color to red, and it's gonna work. I don't know why it's not showing here. Maybe because of the CS. Okay, now it is working. So I can just change it to, let's say, 1, and it's just going to change the different color, different element, color of the different element. See this one. And what I can just do here, let me just change the font weight as well. So font VEIGHT, font weight HT. I hope the spelling is correct here. So let's say bold. So class name is like same as to, yeah, you can just loop over it. If you want to, you can loop over this array and you can modify all of them. So let me just change the color to green here. So the color will be green, and let's have a little bit of margin as well. So I'm just going to copy paste this, and I will change the margin to, let's say, 10 pixels. So it's gonna have 10 pixels of margin. Obviously it's gonna be too much margin for this element, but let's see. And I'm just going to give it a padding as well. So padding. So this is how you can select the element by their class name. Similarly, we can select an element by using its tag name. So what is this? By tag name. So similarly, we have something called as tag name. Here you just have to mention the tag of the element that you want to select. But here in this case also, you are actually going to get an array, because you are actually going to have a multiple element with the same tag, isn't it? So that is why you are again going to get an array. See, I'm getting an array here. So like class name, tag name, ID name, so these all are same things. So it's on you which way you want to use. So I'll suggest you to go with get element by ID whenever you just want to select a single element. And if you just want to select multiple elements, go with class name. And then we have one more type of selector, and we call it query selector. So it's very simple, like it's the easiest way to grab something. So just type document dot query selector, and here you can basically type a CSS query. So like how we select the element in CSS. So if you want to select the element in CSS by ID, so what you do, hash and the ID name, no? So title is the ID. Suppose I just want to select this this thing. So that is why I'm just like I'm just typing the ID of the element that you want to select, like you do in the CSS. And in CSS, if you just want to select something on the basis of class, how we do it? Dot an item, isn't it? So dot and the class name. Okay, so that is all about the query selector. It's very simple to use the query selector. In the case of query selector, you are actually going to pass the CSS query. So now that is on you how you are actually going to use it. So what is your preferred way to select something? So, and in the case of query selector, there is only one drawback, and the drawback is this. So look closely here. So I'm selecting the element by using the class, and multiple element can have the same class, isn't it? But still, but if you use the query selector, you are just going to get a single element. So query selector is just going to give you a single element, like the element it saw first. So see, in my case, I'm getting a single element, just a single element, even though I'm using a class selector here. And obviously class selector will have multiple elements. So in the place of query selector, you can use query selector all. Okay, you can use query selector all here. So query selector all will basically going to select all the elements which are satisfying this particular query, this CSS query. You just have to pass a CSS query, like passing an ID like this. So this is the ID of that element head. How we can access the global elements in, like what are you talking about, like what which kind of global elements? So I think I don't have anything with the ID of okay, title, TITLA. So in the case of query selector all, you are actually going to get an array. Inside this array, it is just going to give you all the elements which are satisfying this condition. But if you pass a query selector, so it is just going to give you a single element, any single element that it is going to see first, that is satisfying our query, a CSS query to be exact. I can also pass here any tag name, so like h1. So this is how you select the tag in the CSS, isn't it? So you can use query selector all, get element by ID, get element by class name, get element by name. Can you give an example? Yeah, I can do this. So suppose I'm just going to use query selector all to select all the elements with the ID of item. Yep. So I'll have a list of elements which are going to have the ID class. Sorry, class here. So class of item. So right now I'm getting 5 elements, and now I can basically loop over them. So remember the loops. So how you can do the loop? So just type for here, for let I equals to 0, where I is less than item dot length. So what is this item dot length is? So if you just want to see the length of any array, so by the way it's an array. So when you have any error here, so const arr here, and suppose this array going to have this much of elements here, and if you just want to see what is the length of the array, so just what you have to do, type the name of the array dot length, and you are actually going to get the length of that particular array. So I think it's going to be 26. Okay, 26. So 26 the array length of this array. Similarly, what I'm doing here, so first of all let me just remove it. Okay, so it's a very classic loop over an array. So this is the easiest way to loop over an array. So we have this item here. So I'm creating a array from starting from 0 and until I is less than the length of the array. Suppose right now the length of the array is 5. So it is actually going to get replaced by 5 here. So this thing is actually going to get replaced by 5 here. So I can directly write 5 here. 5 here. Yeah. And it's a loop. So what you can do here, so if I want to change the styling of all the elements, no? So what I will do, item bracket, and I will just put I here. So why I'm putting I here? So I actually means here, I actually means 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, from each iteration the value 5 is gonna change, and I just want to change the style of it, and style background color I just want to make it red. And if you'll see your website, so you are actually going to get the red color for all the elements. Okay, so whenever you select multiple elements, you can basically use a loop to modify all the values. Yeah, so this is how you can, but I'll suggest you to go with item dot length here. Now obviously you have to put item dot length here. Okay, like it was not intended to be taught in the class, but still I did it. Okay, so that is all. So now you know about the 5 type of selectors. So these are the 5 selectors. Just try it, practice them, and that these selectors are not that difficult, no? So they are very easy. You can just know the purpose of these selectors just by looking at the name. So get element by ID, or get element by class name, get elements by name, query selector, and query selector all. So these are the 5 and most used query selectors. So most of the time you're just going to use them. Okay, so if this thing is out of way, so let's move to the next part, and which is actually getting the input from the user and doing something on user click. So when user click is gonna click somewhere, we just want to do something. So how you can pull off that? For that I would like to update the HTML here, and I'm just going to create a button in an input field. So let's just create a button here. Okay, and I'm just going to write here, click me, and save it. Let's see what I'm getting in my web page. So refresh is going on. So any doubts in the, by the way, query selector, and you can just practice it. So yeah, here we have my button, click me, and I'm just going to grab it and I'm just going to give it some styling. So button. So it's just going to, so yeah, this is our button, and I'm just going to add any hover animation on. So hover, so you'll hover over it, so style is going to change. Okay, so this is our button, And now whenever this user is going to click on this button, I just want to do something. Okay, I just want to perform a task, I just want to show some message or anything like that. So first thing what I want will do here, so first thing that you have to do is to select that thing. Select, yeah, grab that button. So I'm just using this query selector, and I'm passing the tag name here, button. So query selector, I'm just passing the tag name. As I told you, you can use any one of them. So if I wanted, I could have gone with the ID selector, query selector, all class and all, but I'm just using the simplest one, the query selector. I'm just typing the tag name here, that is button, and I'm saving it inside a variable with obviously a name of button. And now I just want to set up a event listener. So for that, let me just tell you about what is a event listener. So event listener actually, so let's just understand what is event. So any action that user performs on our website, it could be like say selecting something, scrolling, clicking somewhere, right click, and drag and drop, anything. So these all are things are actually an event. So these all are things are actually the events here. Okay, events. And we can basically listen for this event. So we are actually going to listen for a particular event, and as soon as that event is going to happen, we are just going to execute a function. Okay, so we okay, so which book is refer for performance task in a practice well? So I think you're talking about which book you should refer to for performance task and practice well. Like I didn't get it. Can you just repeat your question? Yeah, so where was I? So there are so many events, like you can click, scroll, zoom in, zoom out, drag and all. So the thing that I want to tell you is that you can basically listen for these events, and depending on the event, you can basically execute a function. So let me just show you to you. So first, we are actually going to grab this button, and on this button, I just want to set up an event listener. So I'm just going to type here button dot add event listener. That is all. So this is how you can basically set up an event listener. Just grab the element, save that element inside a variable, and type the element name like the variable, and just type add event listener. Okay, to set up an event listener. So we cannot actually cause the event. So user is actually going to cause the event, but here we can basically listen for the event. And here in the first parameter, you have to pass the type of event. So we basically have so many type of event. You can just go with click, drag and drop, and so like we have so many here. So the event that I'm looking for is click. Okay, click. So if anybody is just going to click on this button, I just want to execute a function. Which function? So I'm just going to create a function here. So const, let's say you can name this function anything. So let's say show alert, or let's say set background color. Okay, set background color. So this is a function set background color I'm creating, and inside this I'm just going to change the background color of the button to red. So this is a function. Okay, the set background color is a function, and inside this I am doing button dot style dot background color to red. Okay, I'm doing this thing. And what I'm just going to do, so I'm setting up this. By the way, you can so let's just pass a simple function for now. So let's say some function, no? Fun, and here I'll just do a quick console.log of clicked. Okay, console.log, click here, button clicked. So this is the function, and just pass the function name as the second parameter. So the order is very important. So in the first parameter, you have to pass the event name. So we have so many events: click, scroll, hover. So if you just want to see the list of all the events, just go over here and press Control in space. And these all are the events which are available here. And I'm just looking for the click. So where's the click? Drag and drop. So CL. Okay, so this click, and just save it. So this is how you can set up an event listener. So I'm selecting this event button, and whenever user is going to click on this button, so is it good practice that we store the item like const? Okay, I think Leon, that is actually jQuery, something like that. This one. So I will suggest you to go with the normal variable, na? Instead of const button. That's not a good. So like that is used to happen like when we were used to like jQuery and all. But I'll just say you like go with the regular variable and save it there. So don't create this dollar sign button, dollar sign and all. So those are the old days. So yep. So now I have set up my event listen. Let's see if it is working. So I'm just going to put this thing here. So when I'm just going to click on this button, see I'm getting a click here. See, click here. So I have basically set up an event listener for our button. For that, just type the add event listener. The event is click, and as soon as this event is going to happen, I just want to execute this function. Inside this function, I've just written clicked. Okay, clicked, or like you can do whatever you want. So as I told you, functions are nothing but just a piece of code. So you can basically execute any code here. So I'm just going to write here, let's say button dot style dot background color to, let's say, not the backdrop filter. I just want to change the background color to red. So by the way, you can put any condition, so random colors and all. So if I just click on this button, the background color is going to change. So first, let us just refresh. See, as soon as I click on this button, the background color is changing. And I can basically create a, let's say, any array of colors. So let's just have an array of colors here. Array of color. Okay, so now I have an array of color. And let me just create a variable current color 0, and every time whenever I just going to click on the color, I'll just change the color. So this is the array of color and the current color. So current color is going to be red, and every time I just increase the value of current color by 1. So I'm just you can just, now it's on your imagination. It's now on your imagination, and that's all. So whenever I just click on this thing, so it's gonna change its color. So red, blue, green, yellow, pink. So see, every time I click on this, the color is changing. So it's just a like now you can execute any function that you want. It's on your imagination, and that is all. Yeah, you can do that like real variables. You can just put a underscore. Okay, so that is how you can set up an event listener. So that's very straightforward, very simple. Just grab the element, type dot add event listener, the event that you want to actually listen for. We can put the argument in the function that will be. We can put an argument in the function that will be the type. Yeah, you can that thing like here. Na? Here asking for put the argument. We generally don't put an argument here because this is a callback function. So don't put an argument here because it is actually going to be get called by our event listener. So where was I? So this is how you can set up an event listener, your ID and something like that. Okay, so that's it. Now let's just move to the next part, and the next part is going to be, I think we grab the element, we modify the styling, and we also set up the event listener. We understood about the concept of object, and we also understood about the concept of arrays. So let me just tell you about the modules of in the JavaScript. So what is a module? So suppose if you're creating a website, and your website can basically have 1,000 lines of code, and after some time it's just going to become so difficult to manage all this code. So what you can do, you can create multiple JavaScript file here. So I'm just going to create one more file here, and let's just name it functions. Okay, functions.js, and I'm just going to create multiple functions here. So let's say I just create a function on click, and inside this on click, let's just write console.log click here, whatever you're looking for, console.log click here. Okay, and somehow I want to use that on click function, this on click function here in my JavaScript here, this file. So right now you're going to get the error, like straightforward, you're going to get the error because you can clearly see that we haven't defined this on click function in this file. We haven't defined this here. So it's gonna throw you the error. So because this function This onClick function is in the different file. So how you can use a function which is in the different file? It could be a function, variable, anything. Na? So how you can use this a function which is in the different file in our file? For that, first change that you have to make in your HTML. So here, the first thing that you make change here is make it type module. So there is one more attribute here, type, in the script. In the script, we have one more attribute here called type, and just type here type module and save it. So this is the first change that you have to make. And spoiler warning, that was not intended to be part of this session, but I'm still doing that. And now what you can do, you can basically import this function which is in the separate file in this file. So just type here, let's say import. After that, put this curly bracket, yeah, this curly bracket, and name the function that you want to import, that is on click. And and here you have to mention the file from which you are exporting is. So I want to import this on click function from the file function.js. Okay, so that is how you can import something from a separate file. And it is a part of, yeah, it is a part of new ES6 syntax. Previously we used to have the require and all. So now this is the latest way to import something. But if I will save it now, you are still going to get the error. I'm still getting the error. Now what is the error is, basically you are importing something from this file, but then this file should also export it. So right now this file is not exporting this particular function. So how to export something? Just type export here, export curly bracket, and inside this you can write the name of the function that you are exporting. So you can basically have multiple functions here. So let's say I'm just going to create one more function, let's say sum here, like sum like this. Okay, sum like this. So in this file function.js, I am having two functions. One function is onClick and second function is sum. And I'm just exporting one function. So I'm not exporting the sum. So I cannot use this sum in some separate file. I can only import the functions and the data that this file is exporting. And it is exporting onClick. How to export something? Just type export. After this, have the curly bracket, and inside this, you just have to pass the name of the function of the value that you are actually exporting. And to use that function or the variable in some different file, just type import curly bracket again, just type the name of the function that you are importing from and the file name, and save it. Now you basically are using a function which is in the separate file, isn't it? So you are actually going to create multiple JavaScript file, and we are actually going to separate our code in all those files. So not in the this session, because why I just told you this, because from the next week we are actually going to work on the React, and in React you are going to see this import export a lot. That is why it's like a quick uh, like I just told you about this in a very and like upar se. So but in the React now I just go through in little more depth how this thing works and all. So this is just for the introduction part, so you won't see this thing in the React. And I have seen that some people feel like this import export is a part of React. No, that is not. It's a JavaScript code, and you can do it here as well. So like today actually we actually covered a lot of topic: object, array, selected something from our HTML, setting up event listener, changing the style, and also we understood about importing and exporting. Yeah, Leon, it's a latest way in ES6. Yeah, so that is all about, I think, the today's session. And if you want, we can add some more here. But tomorrow we are actually going to create our project. So in the project, we are actually going to build a game. So in the game, we are actually going to use all these concepts. So you will have a revision of all the concept, how to use them properly, and also I will tell you about the promises. So how to get a data from the server. So that is also added thing that was just added in our syllabus. Uh, you are, yeah, I'm just gently introducing you to the React, because by the way, React is not that difficult, but it requires the knowledge of JavaScript in Like you should know the JavaScript, so then only you can start with the React. And if you just want to know everything about JavaScript, so we have just scratched the surface of JavaScript. And also it just no, we have just started it. You can basically add animation and all. So and so much of stuff you can do with the JavaScript, with the React and backend application. And that's why I always tell you, like, if you just want to learn more, if you just want to build your career, if you just want to be a part of this IT industry, and if you just want to secure a job, like, to be honest na, in the current market, only the IT sector is the sector that can basically assure you a proper stable future. So that is why I'm just encouraging more and more people to become a developer. So you can basically be a part of our future developer. So like in that, we are targeting to make 50,000 employee developer. Just visit our website once, click on the start learning, and you'll see these two courses. So the duration of these courses is just 6 months, and in the 6 months we will handle everything. So you will have the live classes every day, live classes in the preferred language that you are comfortable with. We will have a different kind of bond there. We will create some projects. We and there actually, like, after that you will not have a doubt in JavaScript, React and all, but your future goals will be also clear. So you will understand how programming language works. So from that you can also switch. Suppose you do our web development course, but after this you can easily switch to our data science course. You can do whatever you want in the computer industry. So we cover the core of the software engineering. So everything is just going to become super easy. So back end, front end, data science, everything. So enroll now, and you also have that quick link. So inside that one link, if you just want to chat with us, you can chat it there. Only JS course is free. Raghav, it's a complete course, and by the way, don't worry about the JavaScript only part, because the course price is already so low. So like we are providing the best deal here, and still you can use the coupon code SK10 to for the 10% discount right there, no? So I have seen many institutions who are actually going to charge you 4 lakh, 5 lakh, and money in the lakhs of rupees for the same course. So that is why right now we are actually focusing on creating developers instead of money. So that is why we are not charging a lot. The course price is less than 30,000, and you won't see a great deal. And we will also ensure you that you will get a job after the 6 months. So we will just appoint the interviews with our partner companies and all. We will guide you how to crack the interview. So everything will be taken care of. So by the way, can I join the course for React only? Yeah, you can. So just message us here. So in the one link, if you'll just go here on the, oh, by the way, just click on this enroll, and our team will be contacting you, and you can basically communicate with them. And if you want to just want to learn the React part, so I'll suggest you now to learn everything. So why just to learn the React, oh, get a job as well. So that is all. Just complete everything for once. But if you just want to learn the React, because just for React now, the course prices will be 50, 60,000 in some different institutions. But here we are just like we are going to cover everything for less than 30,000. So why just to learn React? You can also learn Node.js, Express, MongoDB, NoSQL databases, and a lot more. I cannot even emphasize how much we efforts we put in these courses. Courses are actually live, by the way. Yeah. So by the way, that's it for today. I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow we are actually going to build the game, and then the game is going to be a lot of fun. So we will learn how to use this concept in a real project. What are the best practices that you should follow? And I'll just tell you about the promises. So how you can get the data from the server. So it will be easy for you to switch to React. Huh? So when we start our React, so it will be easy for you. So that's it for today. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye and take care.
Hey, hi guys, this is Sai Kiran from LetsUpgrade, and I'm here today to congratulate you all guys for completing or like for pursuing our Essentials program in various fields what we do. And I want to tell that yes, this is amazing program what you're doing. But if you want to continue this learning and want to take your career to next level with a one-on-one personal mentorship, what we are not providing in essentials, and also build real-time projects, then join our 6 months PGP full stack program in data science or AI/ML or web development in MERN stack or Python Django. That's it. Bye bye.